Everything I've preached for over a year now is happening. And here's what to expect over the next 3 months, because Bitcoin just reached this new all-time high. We're passing 110,000, and we're officially going into alt season. And that is when you begin seeing these subset of markets doing 20, 50, 80x multipliers, that of which I'm fully exposed to these markets, by the way. I have close to market. 100% of it is in the alt market. It's essentially purchasing extremely levered Bitcoin. Because what happens is you're going to see Bitcoin make new all-time high. It's going to push. Money's going to roll down the risk curve. And you're essentially going to see the large caps outperform Bitcoin, where Solana might do a 3 to 5x, Sui might do a 5 to 10x, and then you're going to see the really high end of the risk curve begin doing absurd multipliers. And I'm targeted into two niches specifically, AI and gaming. Those are the only two niches that I focus on and I am monetarily exposed to. But what I want to lay down is, if you've seen any of my previous videos, it's been a couple months since I've posted. Everything I've been saying is happening. And we are here. I've been patiently just holding my bags through all of this tariff bullshit, where the whole market was panicking, freaking out, saying the world's going to end. And we're back. We're past where we just were in November, December. Bitcoin's at 111,000 right now. So what's happening next? First of all, this entire market is directly correlated to and lags based on global liquidity. There tends to be about a 90-day offset where 30, 60 to 90 days ago, we've seen the M2 money supply absolutely rocket. The EU, China, the United States, they are purchasing treasury bonds. They're increasing the money supply, and they're stimulating they're injecting liquidity, stimulating the economy, driving prices through the roof. And months later, Bitcoin is the most direct, obvious indicator of currency debasement, and it is the best tool that hedge funds, individuals, sovereign wealth funds, nation states are now. Well, I shouldn't say nation states. It's the best way to hedge the debasement of currency that is caused by nation states stimulating the economy. And the nation states, they have to print money. They must do it, or else the financial system is going to collapse because of the global reset that has occurred, from my understanding, in 2008 and previously in previous decades. But long story short, we're seeing money printing occur. Bitcoin is reaching new all-time highs. It's probably going to push to $130,000 to $150,000, and then we're going to begin seeing the altcoin market outperform Bitcoin. Right now we have Sui. Previously, Solana was the first runner. My bet is Sui's going to be the next runner. Over the last year, Sui has began outperforming Solana at pretty measurable rates. And Solana pumped from the beginning of the bull run. We really just had a mini meme altcoin cycle, which I'm not involved in. But Solana pumped from $25 to $200 to $230. And, we're probably going to see Solana push to 500. But Sui is going to outperform Solana. And that's the bet I'm making. It's pretty simple. I mean, there's really this is all pumponomics. There's no big brain aspect to this. I'm just putting capital higher up on the risk curve. And as nation states print money, the valuations of the higher risk technologies outperform lower risk technologies, and my capital is exposed there. And then you have the niches that tend to run relative to the media and mainstream narratives. AI is going to be the hottest one. We're going to have AI robot. AI is just going to have the largest impact to our real lives, to how we learned, transportation, communication. It's going to impact every single aspect of our life. So, long story short, what's going to happen is Bitcoin's going to pass and go to 100 to 100, 130 to $150,000, completely blow out new all-time highs. Next, the money's going to roll over into the large caps. And what we're going to begin seeing is mathematically, the money's going to transfer over from Bitcoin to Ethereum to the others. And we're going to begin seeing the Bitcoin dominance fall because mathematically, as the capital rolls over outside of Bitcoin into the other altcoins, we're gonna begin seeing them outperform the Bitcoin. And as the Bitcoin dominance falls, our bags essentially go to Valhalla, and that's when we begin exiting our positions and doing whatever you want with the capital that you just made. Most people are going to lose their money. Retail investors are going to get screwed. But at the end of the day, this is a game that it exists, and if you want a chance of winning it, you got to play. You got to buy a lottery ticket to win. Now, here's an interview by A. Pompliano and Crypto Hayes. But he essentially subjects everything I'm trying to say into a 2-minute video. And this is, I 100% agree with certainty that everything he says is exactly what is about to happen. Large caps such as ETH, Sol, and Sui are going to outperform Bitcoin, and that is what we have seen over the last 30 days. The Bitcoin dominance will mathematically fall as liquidity moves from Bitcoin to large caps to the small cap market. Now, regarding the small cap market, the two niches I'm directly involved in is the AI niche and the crypto gaming niche. However, the reason why is because they actually have real world utility. For example, the AI niche, a lot of the tokens I'm exposed to are decentralized systems that enable people to rent computing power. So large SaaS companies that need to rent computing power to test an AI software that takes a lot of energy. Instead of buying these super expensive supercomputers, they may not be able to take on that overhead. However, they can use a decentralized computer power renting system where if you have a large computer, high processing computer, you can essentially generate revenue from these companies and rent out your computing power to them. So there's real world utility to generate revenue in that ecosystem. Another one is the gaming ecosystem. There's a big game called Off the Grid that is one of the currently the top games on the Epic Games Store. And they have people that are paying for the Pro Pass, where it costs $12 a month. It's generating real revenue. And then what they're doing is they're taking 30% of that net revenue and they're doing token buybacks. And they're purchasing you're utilizing 30% of that revenue to buy back the token, driving the valuation of that asset class up. And that's what's going to be really important and he goes into detail on this. People are going to prioritize cash flow, real utility, a real user base within the network of these tokens. They're not going to want to see the old venture capital funded projects with high dilution, fully dilution valuations, low float. There's no revenue. Essentially, these were the projects that last bull run. They just had a large, amazing marketing campaign, took a lot of media exposure, the price pumped, and then they crashed. Those projects will definitely still exist. However, the easiest way to guarantee a profitable bet is by betting on actual utility and identifying real, natural, organic revenue and a user base within the network. And that's how you're going to dominate and win during this bull run. But let's play the clip.
ETH and Sol because of Ripple, the big assets. If those start outperforming like ETH has in the last week, then Bitcoin dominance mathematically falls. Does that mean that the dog shit altcoin that you own in your portfolio is going to go up? Not necessarily. I think there's going to be a new narrative. I don't know what it's going to be. There'll be a new shiny thing that we all start trading. I'll be trading it for sure. It'll be fun. If it's a coin that's already launched, I think people are getting a lot more discerning, right? We don't want a VC-backed coin with high FDV, low float. That shit is not happening, right? We want to see if you're already launched, where are your clients? Are they paying you in money other than the token that you gave them for farming it? And then if you're making money as a protocol, where's my money as a token holder? I want buybacks. I want staked emissions, whatever it is. Give me that profit back. This is not fucking a go party at Bitcoin Vegas at the club with all my money situation. And so I think those coins, and there's very, very few of them. We really like EtherFi and Pendle for that in that narrative. We're going to go back to like fundamental season, all about cash flows all the time for anything that's not.
Whew. So long story short, essentially what he's saying is that the narrative on the altcoins that are going to run is going to be directed more towards utility, real companies, real revenue, real use cases. And, yes, I do think the meme market is going to do great, but it's so unpredictable. And one thing that you could do to predict the success of essentially an altcoin is, number one, you have to be exposed to the altcoin before liquidity is injected into the digital economy. And then secondly, you want the ones that are going to outperform the rest of the market. And the ones to do that is to essentially find the ones that are going to adopt the most amount of users, the most amount of active player bases, or the most amount of active users. Because the value of the network, and this is Metcalfe's law, is directly proportional to the number of users squared. And if you have a mass adoption of a large number of users in a very short period of time and a lot of inbound liquidity of capital moving into that ecosystem, that is how you're going to capitalize and hit a 50x on one of these bets. So, a couple of these projects, for example, Guns is one I'm super bullish on. It has a $43 million market cap. Yes, it does have a high fully dilution valuation, and yes, it is a VC funded project. However, it's generating real revenue. They have 30% token buybacks. It has a large active player base, and these players are playing the game without making money. They're playing it because they enjoy the game, and it's a fun, good, well-developed game. It has a natural organic ecosystem of players. These players are transacting, which is going to generate more revenue. The mainnet is coming out, and there's all these great things that are coming to this project. Another example, is Destra. This is one of the AI tokens where you're going to begin seeing people, companies renting computing power to test these AI systems, and you're going to have individuals that are going to upload their computing power and rent it through the Destra network. And they're going to there's going to be token buybacks generating revenue. There's a real use case. There's a real demand for the use case that the ecosystem is providing. And that's what's going to be important through this next cycle, I believe. So long story short, we're here. I mean, we're in the quote unquote banana zone. We're only going up for the next 2 months probably. And I'm fully exposed to the market. That's all you need to know. Peace.